Hello, happy whatever day you're listening to this. I'm recording it on Tuesday. I'm going to say happy Tuesday, but it could well be a completely different day, couldn't it? There's 6 other days it could be when you're listening to this. Welcome back to the Oh my gosh, Mum Boss Method podcast. This is a little insight into the fact that it is 10 to 3 and I have been talking non-stop since 9:30. I can't get my words out. Anyway, right, today I want to flip something on its head that we've been taught for far too long. I'm done with it. For far too long, we've been told that midlife is a crisis. I hear my mum referring to this all the time. And I'm pretty sure she used to say it to me when I was in my 20s. Oh, I'm having a midlife crisis. Now, listen, I know that when we say that, we say it in a bit of jest. But midlife crisis, I want to kind of flip this for you, right? In order to write this podcast, I did a little bit of research. I asked my mate, ChatGPT, my friend, and I said, what is midlife? What age is a midlife considered for a woman? And he said, sometimes ChatGPT is a man, sometimes she's a woman. Today he was a man. From 35, and then it said through to 60, which I think like that's a really long time, but okay, the middle section of your life. Okay. So I wanted to define that, because if you're listening to this and you're 35 and you're going, this is not relevant for me, then I just want to make sure that you understand it is relevant to you. If you're listening to this and you are older than 60, this is still relevant to you. Because I believe what I'm about to tell you in this podcast is going to be shifting your perspective on your age and situation in your life anyway. So when I thought about this, it was after a couple of conversations with some clients, which have been really thematic this week. There's a lot of my one-to-one clients are saying and feeling a lot of the same things at the moment to me. And they feel like midlife and being peri or postmenopausal is the beginning of the end. Because when your body changes, your worth somehow fades. I want to present you with a little question. What if the opposite is true? What if this is the part of your life where you finally get to rise? What if this bit, the messy middle, the hormonal chaos, the identity shake-up, isn't actually your downfall? It's your rebirth. It's your time to rise. Because you know what? That is how I'm seeing it. That is how I see it. Midlife is not a crisis. It's a wake-up call. That's me dingling my little cup of tea here. Because I've been talking since 9:30 this morning, I just made a cup of tea, and honestly, it tastes like the best cup of tea I've ever had in my life. So, for a long time, I thought I was broken. I've been talking about this, I've been bringing you different examples of this over the last couple of weeks, because it has been such a big wake up call for me. It's been so present in my life. And that's exactly why I've created the 3-day mindset reset. And that's why I'm talking about this a lot. So like I said, for a long time, I thought I was broken. My body was changing. One of the biggest things I was experiencing was lack of sleep. I felt disconnected. I felt kind of invisible. My body just felt off. And I thought, is this it? Is this what life is going to feel like from now on? Is this how I'm going to feel? Is this it for the end of days now? Just feeling off and disconnected and not happy, confident, or comfortable in my body. The truth is, it was absolutely not a crisis. It was a wake-up call. Because midlife forced me to meet myself again. It stripped away all the distractions. It made me ask questions of myself. Who am I when I'm not people-pleasing? Free, she says, free. Who am I when I stop performing? And boy, did I perform. In my 30s, I performed for people all the time, especially after a couple of drinks. Who am I when I stop trying to fix everyone? When I stop being the yes woman? And what do I actually want now? Because I realised I was tired of doing everything for everyone else all of the time. And so I started seeing hitting midlife, as a complete power portal, a doorway through to the next version of me. And that thought and that time and that experience was uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable. Because, yes, my hormones were shifting. My body felt a bit unfamiliar. I felt like I looked different in the mirror. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. Menopause and midlife is not a problem you need to fix. It is a portal, a gateway, a doorway to walk through and feel joyful about the next stage of your life. It's not about going back to who you were. And you know what, even if you are 35 and you don't resonate with the term midlife, if you still have really small children around you, it does not matter whether you are approaching menopause or not. You can look at any stage in life like this, because the truth is you cannot go backwards. You cannot go back to who you were. You cannot go back to who you were yesterday, let alone the you that you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This is about stepping forward into who you're becoming. The old you, yes, she got you here. She survived. She carried everything. She did the best she could. But she's not meant to take you where you're going next. I think I've said this before. Harry Potter fans, listen up. This is your Phoenix moment. This is about burning down the patterns, burning down the shame, burning down that I'm too old, it's too late, I'm too tired, I'm too undisciplined. It's about burning down all of those stories. I'm not organised. I can't cope. I have to please people. I have to do things to make everyone else happy. I have to focus all my time on the kids and the dog and the house and the job. Burning down those stories. Because if we think about burning down, what rises out of what we've burnt down? You can rise out of the ashes as a woman who leads herself. And that's, I realise so strongly what I'm doing and what I'm helping other women to do. So I wanted to reframe this term of midlife crisis. What if we called it what it actually was? A midlife becoming, a midlife rebirth, a midlife revelation? No, liberation. Here's the way I see it. I don't have time to pretend to be someone I'm not anymore. I don't have time to waste trying to get back to someone I can never be. I can never be 35-year-old me again. I will never look like her again. I will never think like her again. I will never walk, talk, act like her again, because she is not me. I am not her. I don't have the energy to waste trying to do that. So I've really worked on letting go of some of these things that are just not serving me anymore. I don't have energy to waste trying to be liked anymore. That was something that I did so much of in my 20s and 30s. I don't have time to pretend anymore. I don't have time to chase skinny. I'm not chasing skinny. I'm chasing strong. I'm chasing healthy. I'm chasing fit. I'm chasing when Charlie has grandchildren. I want to be the nanny that has the energy to bake with them and take them to the park and do fun activities with them. So what about you? What about if you stopped trying to shrink yourself and instead tried to expand yourself? What about if you started to see this as the point in your life where you get to do things your own way now? Where you get to write your own rules? Because that's what I do. I get to do things my way now. I get to write the rules. I get to be sexy, to be confident, to be powerful, to be emotional if I want to be free, all in this body, all in this life. Because I'm not broken and I'm not wasting time and energy trying to get back to, honestly, a version of me that was a bit broken. You can choose to be that person. I was talking to 2 clients about this today. That tea was delicious. I want another cup. I was talking about this to 2 of my one-to-one clients today. So strange because they were both having the same experience of feeling quite low, feeling quite anxious, doubting themselves, speaking to themselves really negatively, and recognizing that that pattern was going to do nothing for getting them to where they want to be, for helping them to achieve their goals. Like in a real like tangible example of this, if you're really struggling to see how you're making progress and you're really struggling with how you're showing up and your body confidence and your body image, it's really easy to be really negative towards yourself because you don't like what you see in the mirror. And then you start to bury your head in the sand. And then you start to, be resentful and angry. And then you stop making good choices, goal-aligned choices. So then your plans for all the great food that you've been eating go out of the window. You sack off your gym workout. You can't be bothered to go for your walk. You make choices and decisions that aren't aligned with your goals, and then you add on to that all of the guilt that brings because you didn't make those choices from a place of power. You made them because you're feeling bad about yourself. You have a choice to not listen to the negative voices that are in your head. Not trying to shrink yourself, not trying to do things to please other people, not speaking to yourself unkindly, not thinking you're broken. You have a choice in that. So if this hit your soul today, if you feel moved by what I've said to you, I want you to remember this. This rebirth, this becoming, this closing the door behind you so that you stop going backwards does not need to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be a sling it all off and say, I'm here and I'm doing what I want. It can just start with one small decision. One small mindset shift. A really powerful act of saying, no more. I'm not allowing myself to feel like this. I'm not going to allow the overwhelm to beat me today. I'm not going to allow the feeling of drowning to beat me today. I'm not going to let the anxiety overwhelm me. I'm not going to let the negative self-talk that I've repeated for years and years and years to become my mantra for every single day. Instead, I'm going to rise. I'm going to choose differently today. And if you want help with that, then I've created something just for you that has been bubbling away for the last few weeks when these mindset shifts really came to me and really spoke to me out loud. It's called the 3-day Midlife Mindset Reset. I'm starting it completely free on Tuesday, the 10th of June. And it's a completely free experience that will help you to start to rise. You're going to rebuild your identity. You're going to rewire the beliefs that are keeping yourself stuck. And you're going to learn how to start trusting yourself again. You can check the link in the show notes if you want to join. You can DM me on social media if you want the link to join. If you're not going to join, or if you've already joined, here's what I want you to think about. What is the decision that you need to make right now? Small, tiny decisions, something you can do that is going to change how you feel for the rest of the day. Just think about that. And remember, this is not the end, it's just the beginning. Right, I'll see you next week.